Today I will lecture from the Old Testament on the definition of nephilim. In Genesis chapter 6 and Numbers chapter 13, there is a brief mention of the nephilim. There is no official church teaching on this, but it is important to understand what this is saying. In Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 through 4, it says, "When human beings began to grow numerous on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw how beautiful the daughters of human beings were, and so they took for their wives whomever they pleased. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not remain in human beings forever, because they are only flesh. Their days shall comprise 120 years. The Nephilim appeared on earth in those days, and as well as later. After the sons of God had intercourse with the daughters of human beings, who bore sons to them, they were the heroes of old and the men of renown." There are people who believe that the Nephilim, the sons of God, are fallen angels because there are three roughly translated words of Nephilim, which are giants, fallen one, tyrants. This is giving some the belief that Nephilim are fallen angels. However, in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14, it says, "Are they not all ministering spirits sent to serve for the sake of those who are inherit salvation?" So these angels are called ministering spirits and do not have physical bodies as humans do. Because angels cannot manifest themselves to us, this brings us to understand that the sons of God, the Nephilim, are human. The early church fathers understood that the sons of God as the offspring of Seth, the righteous son of Adam, and the daughters of men are the offspring of the immoral son of Adam, Cain. The other translation of Nephilim, fallen ones, could mean when these two families mixed, their offspring was much more sinful, therefore referred to fallen ones, but not as angels, but only as humans. The other translation, tyrants, is someone who is a cruel and oppressive person, which could be the Nephilim, since they are the descendants of Cain and thus exerting the corrupt Canaanite culture. After the origin of the Nephilim in Genesis chapter 6, it is the warning of the flood. God wanted to get rid of the human beings. In Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 to 13, it says, "When the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human beings was on earth, and how every desire that their heart conceived was always nothing but evil, the Lord regretted making human beings on the earth, and his heart was grieved. So the Lord said, I will wipe out from the earth the human beings I have created, and not only the human beings, but also the animals, the crawling things, and the birds of the air, for I regret I had made them." But Noah found favor with the Lord. These are the descendants of Noah. Noah was a righteous man and blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But the earth was corrupt in the view of God and full of lawlessness. When God saw how corrupt the earth had become, since all mortals had corrupted their ways on earth, God said to Noah, "I see that the end of all mortals have come, for the earth is full of lawlessness because of them. So I am going to destroy them with the earth." Because the Lord said that the wickedness of the humans and how he regretted making them in the first place, this we can understand that the group Nephilim have cruel behavior, that they are human, and God wanted to get rid of the horrible things that done by these humans. Another translation of the Nephilim is giants. This could mean that the Nephilim were taller than most. And as it says in Numbers chapter 13, verse 30 to 33, Caleb, however, quieted the people before Moses and said, "We ought to go up and seize the land, for we can certainly prevail over it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We cannot attack these people. They are too strong for us." They spread discouraging reports among the Israelites about the land that they had reconnoitered, saying, "The land that we went through and reconnoitered is a land that consumes its inhabitants, and all the people we saw there are huge. There we saw the Nephilim. And In our own eyes, we seemed like mere grasshoppers, and we must have seemed to them. They said that these people were huge, that they saw that the Nephilim were here, that they themselves felt like grasshoppers in front of the Nephilim. Caleb said to Moses that the Nephilim were too strong for them to fight against. This brings us to think that the Nephilim are strong, tall, but they are most certainly human. We can now understand from the Old Testament, when they mention Nephilim, it is not angelical beings, but wicked humans.